welcome to Red Storm. This is going to be a playthrough, an attempted playthrough of Scenario 1 from the book. Yeah, we're going to try and do a high-speed reconnaissance pass through Western Germany. So this is my first time with the Red Storm system, my first time with the downtown system, so expect a lot of mistakes, a lot of humming and hawing, and not quite sure what's going on, but hopefully we'll figure it out together and we'll take a stab at this scenario. So this scenario is just an introductory one. It's meant more to introduce the rules, particularly around movement and acquisition, than about actual combat. So we've got a flight of Su-24 fencers entering from over here, and their objective is to make a reconnaissance pass of this SAM battery here, this Hawk, this headquarters, this HQ, which is actually a supply unit, and the Hawk battery down here. Important to note that under the introductory rules of this scenario, they don't need to actually do reconnaissance runs per the rules. They just need to fly past those hexes or past those units. Defending that, we've got a unit of F4s, UK F4s, starting out at the deck, and we've got the two Hawk SAM batteries plus a variety of units with their inherent anti-aircraft ability. I rolled for the anti-aircraft capability of the units, and this one's a bit hidden, but it's on the on this chart here on player aid 3, and this time only one of the units actually got any enhanced anti-aircraft artillery. The artillery unit down here got a Gepard, I'm not actually sure how you pronounce that. But the interesting thing about these rules is, at least for the first time you play this, you're not actually supposed to fire any shots with the air-to-air units. They're supposed to engage the enemy, but not actually take the shots with their missiles. So we're going to presume that's the same with the SAMs and with the mechanized units. This is supposed to represent a pre-war scenario, so tensions are high, so the alert levels are very high. Everyone's got all of their airborne surveillance, all of their ground radars working in good effectiveness, but NATO doesn't actually want to fire any shots off at this. You know, the Soviet Union's going to send their jets in to do a high-speed pass around here, but because the war hasn't actually started yet, NATO doesn't want to shoot them per se. But we may actually try and pretend to take some shots with the anti-aircraft artillery and whatnot, just to get a feel for how that works. Player aid 4 is a nice one, so we got the it's got the sequence of play listed out. So we did the weather phase. Weather's just clear. Ground planning phase, we laid out everything. Everything starts out located already, so we don't need to worry about that. No ISR phase. Ground deployment, we set everything up. Raid planning phase, so we did plan out a raid for the fencers. They're going to enter in over here, basically fly due west, then make an angle up and circle around, trying to fly past all of the units they need to reconnoiter. No suppression of enemy air defenses. Air deployment phase, we've got the units laid out there with their undetected sides up, and a couple of dummy flights as well. And then radar phase. So now we can actually activate any radar concentrations, SAMs and EWR units. So we can actually activate that, and since all of our radar is already located and we know things are coming in, we don't need to worry about suppression of enemy air defense. Let's just turn all our radars on. I'm not going to flip over all the ground units yet. We'll just get them as they go by. And that is it for the scenario setup. So, sequence of play. The first sequence. The first item in the sequence of play is the random event phase. For the first turn, there's no random event, so we don't need to worry about that. Next is jamming. We have no radar jamming in this scenario. There's no standoff, no spot jamming. Detection phase. Okay, now we can get going here. So each player rolls to detect undetected flights with standard jamming, or with standard detection, visual detection, radar detection, and early warning radar. Okay, so we'll start with standard. So in this scenario, we are all at detection level A. So that means on a 9 or higher, all of our units are going to get detected. So we'll start with the NATO flight here, and 2 does not get detected. And then we've got, just off camera here, I've got three units for the Soviet Union. 2 are dummies. 1 unit W is the actual flight, so we'll roll for W first. And 10 gets detected. Oh, we're actually supposed to do that 2 dice, aren't we? So let's re-roll NATO. 4 still not detected. W, 5, 6, 7, 8 not detected as well. T and L, 8, 16, one's detected, and the other's detected, so those both get removed. Alright, that's standard detection. Visual detection, no one's in visual range. Radar search, the fencer doesn't have radar. The F4 does have radar, but it's not going to detect anyone. Early warning radar has a range of 20 hexes, but we're not quite there yet, and I don't think this one's quite there yet either, so we won't worry about that. All the detection attempts are resolved. Okay, so now we move to the movement phase. First, determine initiative. So 5 means NATO gets the initiative, so we will draw the initiative chits. I'm just going to pull them out of my hand. And NATO will elect for the Warsaw Pact to go first. So, small flight, we only have 1 flight each, so we use the small side. And the initiative is 2. So, Warsaw Pact moves its flight first. You would think with this you wouldn't actually have to pull initiative chits because you've only got 1 flight each. You could just pick, but there actually are some zero chits in there. So it's potential for example, if NATO won and wanted the Warsaw Pact to go first, they could draw a 0 chit, which would mean NATO would still have to go first. So we do want to do that. Okay, so what have we got? We've got W here is on deck altitude. They're going to move, and they have, if I review the data chart, at low altitude it has 4 movement points at combat speed and 5 at dash. Now they have a whole lot of fuel on them, so why don't we just try and move along as quick as we can here. So the fencer will make a dash move. So that gives it 5 movement points, and if I review the flight path here, they're going to go along the hex spine to try and get right here. So we will move, we'll turn, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we will stay at deck. We're still only over normal land and rough hexes, so no issues there. Although we are going to have to pop up as we approach the mountains here. We'll have to pop back up to low altitude. So that is it for the fencer flight. Now for the phantoms, it's knife flight, and they have, what do they have? They have 4 movement points at low altitude as well. And now they are stuck around their orbit point. They have to stay within 1 hex of the orbit point until the Warsaw Pact flight is detected and is on the West German side. And this is our border here. So once they get over the line and are detected, then we can start moving the UK flight. But for now, they still need to burn at least 3 movement points. So why don't we hop up to low altitude? So that climbs to 1. We'll move ahead for 1, and then we'll make a turn for the 3rd movement point. After movement is fuel phase, flights that use dash or engage air-to-air combat do use a fuel, so our fencers will use up 1 fuel. SAM location phase, we can attempt to locate SAMs. The fencer does have a radar warning receiver, category B, but the SAMs are already located, so we don't need to do that. And the Warsaw Pact doesn't have any SAMs, so we don't need to worry about them. Track phase. All detected NATO flights in rough terrain. NATO is undetected. Okay. All flights at deck and in or adjacent to mountain trains. So it is at deck, but is not in or adjacent to the mountain. May become automatically undetected. Then we both roll on the track table. So again, just reiterating that all detected NATO flights at deck and at rough. So NATO's already undetected. All detected flights at deck, well, they're undetected too, so I guess we don't even need to worry about tracking. Everyone's still undetected. Okay, SAM acquisition phase. So we turned on our Hawk radars already in the pre-game phase, or in the setup phase, so they could attempt to acquire if they have the range. Do they have the range? Probably not. If we look at the SAM data table for the Hawk C, it's got 12 shots, acquisition range is 13 hexes, so I think we're not there yet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we're out of range, and plus, because they're at deck altitude and behind the mountains, they're actually masked by the terrain, so they can't detect anyways. So disorder recovery is not applicable. Split flights for the admin phase. We don't have to split flights. No shutdown markers. We can turn radar on or off. We'll leave it all on. Switch SAMs on or off. We could move mobile SAMs. I'm not going to worry about that for this one. Remove launch markers. Zoom climb. Anti-radar. Generate dummy counters. Oh, we can generate dummy counters. Alright. So for every undetected flight, we can generate one dummy counter. So, just for fun, we will add one. So they each get a dummy flight added to their position. Same direction. Same altitude. That one is detected. That should be undetected. And then on here we know which marker it is. We're just playing single player, so it doesn't really make a difference. It's more just to try and get familiar with the rules. 8 flights ready. Nobody's landed. A suppression, parachuting crew, roll for crew. And set up for turns for next ones. Set up flights entering next turn, not applicable. Okay, so that's it. So now we move on to turn 2, when we're going to do basically the same thing. Alright, random event phase. This time we do get a random event. So we roll 2 dice on the random event table. 8 and 10 is 18. Cloud deck drops. Existing cloud layer drops 1 altitude band. We don't have an existing cloud layer, so I guess that means nothing happens. Alright. Okay, jamming phase. Again, no jamming. We don't have any jammers. Detection phase. Let's try and detect the undetected flights. So let's detect the Warsaw Pact first. We've got category A again, so 9 or higher. Oh, I forgot the modifiers last time. So -1 for Warsaw Pact flight at deck. -2 for Warsaw Pact flight at deck in rough or mountain. So these are in the rough. So we are actually at a -2 for that detection roll. 7 makes 9, so this one remains undetected. And then W, which is the actual unit. 9 plus 9 is 18. It is detected. Okay. There we go. For the NATO, they get to hide even better. So 306 is at the deck, so it is at a -2 because it is in normal terrain, not rough terrain. Yeah. So 306 -2, 15 -2. That is good. So that gets detected. It's a dummy flight, so we just take it off. And 601. 6 plus 1 is 7. -1 is, or -2 is 5, does not get detected. Alright, so everyone's still hiding for the most part. Okay, movement. Let's see who gets the initiative. NATO gets the initiative again. And they're going to let the Warsaw Pact go first again, and they get 1, so the flight moves again. So it will do another dash move at 5 again. It's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And NATO will go back down to the deck, ahead and turn. Fuel phase, so the Warsaw Pact fencers use up another unit of fuel. SAM location phase, everything's located. Tracking phase, okay, so NATO is undetected, so it remained undetected. TT is undetected. Let's see, Warsaw Pact is detected. All detected flights at deck and in or adjacent to mountain, so that's not in or adjacent to a mountain, so we need to roll on the track table. We get a 3. For a 3, a spade. At detection level A, spades get undetected. It is a diamond, so it does not. It remains detected. SAM acquisition. We can't acquire with the SAMs because it's masked by terrain. And admin. Roll for disorder. Shut down. Change the radars. Switch radars. Move mobile SAMs. Remove markers. Dummy counters. So the TT can generate one more dummy counter. So we'll put TT and T up there. Okay, that moves us on to turn 3. Random event phase. What do we get for a random event? 2. Warsaw Pact comms failure. Warsaw Pact detection level ships 1 column worse for the remainder of the scenario. All right. So Warsaw Pact goes to detection level B. That takes effect immediately, which will help us out a little on the NATO side. Jamming phase, no jamming. Detection phase, all right. We will try and detect the NATO flight again with Warsaw Pact now level B, which means we need a 10 or higher to detect, which we do get, so they get detected. And Flight W is already detected. Flight T, 9 or higher. Detected and removed. Flight TT, 9 or higher, is also detected and removed. Okay. And that means we shouldn't be generating any more dummy counters. Oh, I guess if it gets undetected again, I can. For the movements, initiative. NATO wins again. We will elect the Warsaw Pact to go first again. Move 1. So, if we move 5, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and we would have to climb out to low altitude with 5 there. So why don't we stick with a combat throttle, and then we can just go 1, 2, 3, and remain at the deck, because their combat speed is 4 maneuver points, which means they can move either 3 or 4. So that puts us 3 into there, and then the next turn we can hop up over the mountains, and we're going to have to run through some of this anti-aircraft. We can't avoid all of it, but we can at least make a hop over and head up this way and get back down to the deck shortly after. Okay, so that's it for Warsaw movement. NATO movement. NATO is still stuck to their orbit point. Oh no, they're not. They've crossed the border. So Warsaw Pact has crossed the border. They are detected, so NATO is free to move now. What are we going to do? I don't want to close too fast with them. We want to try and let the SAMs get their activity in. But we can at least start moving ahead. So they've got a combat speed of 4 as well. They'll remain at combat speed, and they'll move 1, 2, 3, remaining at the deck height. Fuel. Nobody used fuel this turn. SAM location. SAMs are all located. Tracking phase. Okay, all NATO flights at deck in rough terrain are undetected. It's not at deck in the rough terrain, so it is still detected. All flights in the deck in adjacent to mountain terrain. So Warsaw gets undetected now because it is at the deck in rough adjacent to a mountain. Then we can roll on the track table to see if NATO goes undetected. 6 is a spade, it does not. And then SAM acquisition phase, still masked by the terrain. The two SAMs can't locate it. Admin phase, roll for disorder, split flight, snow, shutdown markers. So this still hasn't been identified, which means it's a generic counter, so we can still actually put another counter on there. Okay, so that moves us on to turn 4. Turn 4, random event phase. 10-18, cloud deck drops. Cloud deck drops again, there's no cloud deck to drop, so nothing there. Jamming phase, no jamming. Detection phase, okay. We are going to attempt to detect NATO. Oh, that's still detected already. So TT, we will attempt to undetect. It is at 9 with a -1, -2 for being in the deck in the rough. So that's 10-18, so TT gets detected and is removed. W, same modifiers. 11 -2 gets it detected as well. After detection comes movement. Alright. Initiative. 9. The Warsaw Pact goes first. So they are going to elect for NATO to draw first. So NATO draws their chit, and they get a 2. So they need to move. And they will stay. We'll just keep at the deck again. We'll just slowly advance. We'll pretend we don't know exactly where these guys are going, so we'll go 1, 2, 3. 3 movement points at combat speed, and we'll remain down on the deck. Okay, Warsaw Pact. Fencers. Now we're going to start to get into interesting times. So the first thing we'll need to do is climb up to low altitude. But I think we're going to move up to dash speed again here. Let's make that clear, which gives us 5 movement points. So that's going to be 1, then 2, 3. We're just going to blow right past these guys. So we will turn this on. Now, that's 1, 2, 3. So it's now made a movement point, spent a movement point adjacent to a unit with inherent organic anti-aircraft artillery. This is a mechanized unit, so it contains small arms. Like I said, only this one unit drew a Gepard, so this mechanized unit can potentially activate its radar and, well, not its radar, but activate and fire its organic small arms anti-aircraft. So all Warsaw Pact and NATO ground units contain small arms. This occupies... Oh, not the adjacent hex. Okay. Okay, so they actually can't fire onto the adjacent hex. Now, if we were to move... We've moved 3 of our movement points so far. If we just move straight on the line there, we could claim that we are... NATO could claim that this being on the hex spine is in this hex and could still fire on it then. One thing we can do, though, is because we are now adjacent to it with a ground unit, is we can identify this, and that gets us one of the NATO objectives, which is to get a visual identification. So that gives us Loiko, the Su-24 flight. Now, as we said, the NATO was not going to actively shoot, so just for fun, let's move this onto this hex spine here, and one more here, still at low. But we'll say when it moves onto the hex spine, NATO will claim it is in the mechanized unit's hex, which means that can then make an organic AA fire. Okay, so now I just need to find the anti-aircraft attack table. Okay, anti-aircraft table. So we've got barrage anti-aircraft, small arms, can only fire at the deck, which it's not at the deck, so we can't even fire at it. Yeah, it's at low altitude because it's going over the mountains. It can't go through the mountains at deck because it doesn't have a terrain following radar, so it can't even shoot it. There we go. So it passes through that hex spine. It does get visually identified by the mechanized unit, but then moves along because it is at low altitude and is too high. And it's in the mountain, so it still can't go back down to the deck altitude there. We will make a free turn as we go into that last hex, though, to turn one hex side and make our run up to the 2 units we need to spot over there. Okay, and that was the Warsaw Pact. NATO went first, so that is it for movement. We did use a fuel for the fencers, so we'll mark one off there. Okay, SAM location phase. SAMs are already located. Tracking phase. All dedicated units, all NATO units in the deck in rough are undetected. So it is on the deck in rough, so it goes undetected. Okay, all flights at deck in or adjacent to mountain terrain. It is in mountain terrain. The fencers are in the mountain terrain, but they are at low altitude, so they do not automatically undetect, which means we need to roll on the tracking table for the Warsaw Pact. 9 gives us a spade, so nothing goes undetected there. Now we get to SAM acquisition phase. So we can turn on SAM radars attempting quick acquisition. We're already on. SAMs may attempt to acquire or maintain acquisition on enemy flights. So let's pull up our Hawk, the SAM data table. So the Hawk C has a range of 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, well into range. So, Hawk C Note E may acquire and attack helicopters, not applicable. Okay, so the SAM acquisition table. So target is detected. So that makes it a little bit easier. We're going to roll on this table here. Target defensive jamming strength. The fencers do have a jamming strength of 3. Jamming strength is 3. Deception, so that will apply regardless. We can't burn through that because it's decoy jamming, not noise jamming. So we're -3. No standoff, no spot jamming. Target is not on the deck. It is at low altitude. We're not doing electro-optical. We're not doing lock-on after launch. Didn't do anti-radar. Did not do quick acquisition. And it's not in a chaff corridor. So all we have is the -3 due to the jamming strength. So 9 plus 3 is 12, -3 is 9, which gives us a partial acquisition. And partial acquisition from SAM Unit 30. Now for the purpose of our objectives, we need to get a full acquisition for 2 turns, at the end of 2 turns, in the mid-phase of 2 turns. We do have one other SAM unit though, 29, which will roll to detect as well, or acquire, and with the same modifier, -3. 8 minus 3 is 5. That gives us another partial acquisition. So hopefully that'll make it a little easier to acquire next turn. But for now, we only have a partial. Admin phase. Disorder recovery, split flights, shutdown markers, radar switching on and off, move mobile SAMs. Zoom climb, anti-radar, generate dummy counters. No more dummy counters. Oh, I guess we do get one for the for NATO actually, but we won't get one any more dummy counters for the Warsaw Pact because it has been identified now. Make flights ready, and the rest of this is all not applicable. So we move on to turn 5. Random event 11. NATO QRA. By the scenario special rules, this does not apply. So no extra flight for NATO. Okay, jamming phase, no jamming. Detection phase. We can try and detect NATO 306. 12 minus 4 for on the deck in rough. So that is 7. Which is not enough for detection category level B for Warsaw Pact. They need a 10 or higher. So 306 stays on, and then 601, which is our actual unit. 9 plus 3 is 12. Again, 12 minus 4 for being on the deck in rough is 8, which means it's not detected again. We have detected Loico already, so we don't need to attempt to detect it. Then we go to movement phase. So initiative, Warsaw Pact wins. They will say, let NATO draw first. So NATO draws, move 3. And let's see what we're going to do. We will go 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Actually, maybe we'll do that. We'll just split up the 2 dummies just to confuse the other side a little. Make them think. Where are those guys at? All right, now we get onto the more interesting Warsaw Pact movement. We are going to dash speed again. We need to get in and out of here, so we're going to go to, we get 5 movement points. We go 1, we can take a free drop down to deck altitude. 2, 3, 4, 5. These guys can activate if they want, but they only have their inherent small arms, so they can't actually fire on them. And the partial acquisition still remains. Altitude is now still on the deck. NATO already moved. Oh, you know what we forgot to do? We forgot to try and do a beyond visual range engagement. We probably could have made it there. I think that would have been within range. Oh, maybe not, because the missile, it would have been in radar range to detect, but not missile range to engage. So we can do that next turn. Okay. Movement phase is done. Fuel phase. Burning more gas. SAM location phase. The SAMs are already located. Tracking phase. Let's see. All NATO flights on the deck in rough. They're already undetected, so we don't need to undetect them more. You are on the deck, but you are in open terrain, so we just need to roll for you. 2. Oh, that's everybody. So you go undetected. Oh, no. It's 2 dice, not 1 die. 5 and 1 is 6. 6 is a spade. Spade. This is a diamond, so it does not get undetected. So it remains undetected, remains partially acquired, and remains on the deck. These guys remain undetected and on the deck. That's it for tracking. SAM acquisition phase. So they've got partial acquisitions, so SAM 30 will attempt to improve that to a full acquisition. So we're going to go roll on the target acquisition or target acquired chart of the SAM acquisition chart. Still have a -3 for the strength because they can't burn through the decoy jammers. No standoff jamming. Target's still on the deck. So we're on the deck, so we get a -5 modifier. 3 and 6 is 9, -5 is 4, which means we still remain a partial acquisition. We'll try again with number 29. 8 and 9 is 17. -5 is 12. That gets us up to a full acquisition. There we go. 29 goes full acquisition. Now that they have full acquisition, I guess they have to fire on the movement phase, so they can't actually fire. But next turn, even though we're not actually firing, we can pretend we're going to take a shot with the SAMs, as long as it maintains its acquisition. Administration phase. Roll for disorder, split flights, remove shutdown markers, switch radar on, move mobile SAMs, remove SAM launch markers, generate dummy counters. We're not going to make any more dummy counters. It'll just confuse me and make things worse. Make flights ready. Suppression. Yep, none of this is applicable, so that is it. Moving on to turn 6. Random event phase. 8 and 9 is 17. Electronic warfare success. Warsaw Pact player may choose to pull the first chip during the movement phase. They're probably not going to want to do that, but they have the choice anyways. Okay, that is it for random event. Jamming phase, no jamming detection. Warsaw Pact is detected. We can do regular detection on these guys. So 306 is going to be on detection level B. It's -1 because, or -2 because it's on the deck. So that's 8 and 3 is 11. -2 is 9, which is not quite enough at level B. 601 is on the deck in rough terrain, so that's a -4. And that does not get detected either. Warsaw Pact has already been detected. They're good to go. So now we move on to the movement phase. So the Warsaw Pact can pull the first ship if they want. That's going to throw them right into these guys, though, because we want to go here, over here, and then down here. So we don't if we move there now, that's not going to be great for us, because that'll put us closer and they can just dive right in and engage us. So we're going to let the NATO pull first. NATO gets 2, so they move. All right. NATO is going to move. We are on the deck and will remain at combat speed for now. 601, which is our actual flight, will move 1 and take a free turn, which will put them into this X here. And we're going to attempt a beyond visual range attack, or a beyond visual range engagement on them. So, BVR air-to-air combat sequence engagement. Only the attacker rolls for BVR engagement on 1122. If successful, proceed to step B. So, we are in day. It is detected. It's beyond visual range, so we need to roll a 9. +1 for our aggression value. We are at the same altitude band. No flights are disordered, no slash attacked. We're not in the rear hemisphere. Target hazer miss, no one applies. So +1 for aggression. That's it. So roll 2. It's 9, +1 is 10. That means we make our BVR engagement. Okay, step 2, maneuver. BVR combat commences. The attacker only rolls on the maneuver table to determine the number of shots. Soviet doctrine does not apply, so we roll on 1132. Where's 1132? Oh, roll on the maneuver table. There's the maneuver table. Okay. Use the 1 column. If it's making multiple attacks, no. So we've got 2 aircraft. Roll the dice. Modifiers. We didn't climb. We didn't zoom. We don't have a maneuver marker. We don't have an avoid marker. No difference in altitude. Defenders at low. So -2 because they're at deck. Oh, no modification if the attacker's at deck. Okay, so no modification. Attack from the beam. We are attacking from the beam. So +1 for the aggression and -1 for attacking from beam is no modifier on the 2 chart. So that's 10, 12. 12 on the 2 means we get 1 aircraft hits or shots. Shot resolution. Now, because this is the intro scenario, we're not actually taking any shots, but we'll do it just to see what would happen. On the shot resolution table, select an undepleted weapon to shoot, then roll 2 dice and apply modifiers and result. So we roll 2 dice, add the combat value of the selected weapon. What is the combat value of the Skyflash? You're running the Skyflash, which has a 3 for the combat value, range of 8, a 1 to 4 when we're beam. 1, 2, 3, 4. We are just in range in a beam. Good. So we're going to add 3 for this combat rating. So roll 2 dice. So 9 plus 5 is 14 plus 3 is 17. 17 gives us a 1 aircraft shot down. So if we were actually shooting, that would be a 1 aircraft shot down. But it's not because we're not actually shooting. Depletion, we could check for BVR depletion, which is a That's on 1 die, I believe, so we roll that. 5, the depletion number for the Sky Flash is 3, so we don't deplete that. Not that we fired one anyways. Damage allocation we don't need to worry about. It will be one of the 2 aircraft shot down. Morale. Shots occurred, defender takes a morale check. They do talk about disordered and whatnot in the scenario special rules, so we will do a morale check for them. So air-to-air combat, so we've got roll 2 dice. We're going to roll on the beyond visual range chart. Aggression value. I presume that's the aggression value of the people taking the morale check, so that would be +2 for the Soviets. No surprise, no disadvantage. Modifier for aircraft, flights disengaging, no. So we just roll 2 dice, +2, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's a jettison check. Jettison check, they roll to see if they jettison their ordnance. They don't have any ordnance, so nothing else happens there. Where does that leave us on here? That was the morale, then markers. Disordered, abort status based on morale check, so they don't get disordered, they don't abort. BBR avoid if any shots occurred, so we could put a BBR avoid on. We would put a BBR avoid on if we'd actually taken a shot. And bailouts. No one was shot down, so no actual bailouts. So that's how that would have gone. We would have knocked one of the aircraft off, would have had to check for bailout, they would have had a BBR avoid, but they wouldn't have jettisoned anything, or well, we'd had a jettison check. But they don't have any ordnance to jettison, so the one aircraft might have been able to carry on. So that was 1. And we're going to go 2, 3. And that's 3 out of the 4 movement points. You know what, we're just going to pull this one off for now, because it's not adding a whole lot of value at this point. And that means now the Warsaw Pact can take a stab at things. So they're going to go to dash speed as well. And they're going to go 1 and a free turn. And actually, they're going to go 1, and let's take a look at the turntable. At a speed of 5, they get a free turn of 30 degrees. They can make a maximum turn of 90 degrees. So that's their 1. Two, 3 plus a free turn, 4, 5. And the acquisition stays on. Actually, you know what? Let's do it this way. I'm gonna go 1 free turn here, 2. The Hawk will get an anti-aircraft shot at them. 3, 4, 5, and a free turn. That just gets them on the rough part, which will hopefully make them undetected, or help them get undetected. Now, as they go over the hex spine adjacent to the Hawk can say it is within the Hawk's hex, which means they get a light anti-aircraft. All the SAMs have inherent anti-aircraft, but it only applies to their hex. So that means they can take a shot on a 15 or higher. They will get a hit. 9, 10, so they don't get a hit. And again, we're just doing that for exercise sake. Even if it did get a hit, we wouldn't actually shoot them down. Okay, so that's it for movements. So the fencers went up, skirted along the SAM, and over by the HQ that they need to hit, so they need to turn and scooch along this way. These guys managed to get their BBR engagement off, which means they now need to make a standard engagement. And hopefully that full acquisition will hold up, because we need 2 turns of that. So that was movement. Fuel phase. These guys are using up the gas. Fortunately, they've got big fuel tanks. SAM location phase. SAMs are already located. Tracking phase. All detected NATO flights on the deck in rough terrain. Not in rough terrain. It's undetected anyways. Okay. All flights on the deck and adjacent to mountain. So it's on the deck, but it's not adjacent to a mountain. But it does roll on the detection phase, on the tracking chart. So we roll on the tracking table. 10 is a heart. They are a diamond. They do not go undetected. SAM acquisition phase. All right. So we need to continue the SAM acquisition. Hawk number 30 will attempt to improve its partial acquisition to a full acquisition. So we are rolling on the target acquired table. Defensive strength is 3. Targets on the deck is -2. So that's a total of -5. So 9 and 13, or 9 and 3 is 12. 12 minus 5 is 7. That is just a partial acquisition. We need an 8. The unit Hawk number 29 will attempt to maintain its full acquisition. Oh yeah, I guess we could have taken a SAM shot at those, or pretended to take a SAM shot during the movement phase there. We'll try and remember that next turn. Okay, so the Hawk is a 7, minus 5 is 2, is a partial acquisition still. So it actually degrades to a partial acquisition. But we have got 1 turn at our full acquisition so far. Okay, so that's SAM acquisition, administrative phase, disorder recovery, split flights, shutdown markers, switch radars, fired markers, zoom climb, anti-radar tactics, dummy counters, flights active, refuel. Yeah, nothing else going on there. So, that is it for turn 6. Turn 7, random event phase. 9 and 5 is 14. Direction finding. Roll 1d10 again. 2. Warsaw Pact. Player chooses 1 enemy SAM warning marker and automatically locates. Well, we have no SAM location markers. Everything was turned on and located already. So nothing to worry about there. Jamming phase. Nothing. Detection phase. We can try and detect NATO Flight 601 again. So they are on the deck. They are not in rough terrain, so it's only a -2. 9, 11, -2 is 9, which is still not enough for detection level B. It's amazing what a difference just that 1 detection level has made in terms of actually trying to pick up the NATO flight. Visual detection, we're not within 1 hex. Oh, target 3 or 4 hexes away. Okay. Detection phase, standard visual. Visual is make a visual detection roll for each enemy flight within 4 hexes in the line of sight of a non-disordered friendly flight. Okay, so we're within 4 hexes. We can make a detection roll. Target 3 or 4 hexes away, so that's a -2. Different altitude band does not apply. No haze or mist. Target use dash throttle, no. Detecting aircraft and rear, no. So just a -2 on the visual table. So we're going to roll on the visual table. 17 minus 2 is 15. That is good enough. NATO finally gets detected. Or gets detected. It hasn't been identified. So then we don't need to worry about early warning radar. I guess we could have been using those too, but yeah, that's fine. Okay. Okay, so identification only occurs if they enter standard air-to-air combat, if they get within 1 hex and within 1 altitude band, or they go by a ground unit, basically. So still no detection on the, or no identification on the NATO unit. But we all know what it is. Okay, so that is detection phase, movement phase. Roll for initiative normally this time. 7. Warsaw Pact goes first. You know what? They are going to try and draw first because they want to get the heck out of there. They're in a bad position right now. If NATO goes first, they'll be able to jump right on them. So they will go first and draw a... They draw 2, so they can move. Dash throttle again. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and a free turn. All on the deck. Maintains their partial acquisitions. Now they are moving within SAM range, so let's just pretend to take a SAM shot at them for giggles. Okay. So SAM acquisition, we've got 2 partial acquisitions on there. So we can attempt to make a SAM attack. So we are going to roll on the SAM attack table. Altitude modifier, which is based on the Hawk C. The deck has a 0 modifier. Long range, we are not at long range for either of those, I believe. 7 to 9, we are within 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, even then it was moving close there. So no altitude modifier, no long range modifier, -1 for a partial acquisition, +2 for salvo fire, and -1 for infrared SAM. It's not infrared SAM, so you know what? Let's do a couple of salvo fires here. So that means these guys will each mark off 2 shots for the salvo fire, and they each get 1 roll with a no modifier for altitude, no modifier for long range, -1 for partial acquisition, +2 for salvo, means a net +1. Okay, so 29 rolls with a +1, 2 and 4 is 6, +1 is 7, is a miss. 30, 8 and 3 is 11, +1 is 12. 12 is a possible hit, so we roll on the SAM defense table. Okay, so we roll on the SAM defense table. There's no standoff or spot jamming modifiers. Defensive jamming. Burn through does not apply, so we get a -3 because of the defensive jamming. It's no infrared, target's not very high. +1 radar warning receiver C or D. They just have a radar warning receiver B, so that's not applicable. Not infrared, Hawk, not a Hawk D. Target has no line of sight, target has poor SAM defense. No, that's all not applicable, so we get +3 for the defensive jamming, and that is it. So, just 29 made a possible hit, so we roll here, +3, 9, +3 is 12, +3 is 15, which is a miss. So we don't need to roll the SAM damage, and that was all just for pretend anyways, because our SAMs are under rules of engagement and can't actually shoot. Okay, so that was the Warsaw Pact moved. Drew a couple of shots from the 2 SAM launchers shots, but they didn't hit it anyways. So what do we got? Now NATO has to move, and they need to somehow intercept them so they can make an attack. So we're not going to be able to do a spin around and engage them. So that'd be, if we go dash speed, that gives us 5. Dash speed would give us 5, which would be, we could do max turn. What's the max turn at speed 5? It's 90. So it'd be 1, 2, 3. Oh, you know what? You might actually be able to do that. Let's just, I'm not saying we're going to do this, but let's just try it out. 1 movement point for the max turn. 2 movement points and a free turn. We can do another BVR engagement, but we already did our 1 that we needed to get, so we're not going to do another one. 3. Well, how about that? That puts us adjacent to it and lets us make a standard engagement. That also means we are now visually identified and detected. Okay, we will now attempt a standard air-to-air combat engagement. Okay, so what's going to happen here? We need to make an engagement roll. It announces multiple attacks or slash attack. Must be at dash throttle. We are at dash throttle. Cannot have climbed. We didn't climb. Oh, target cannot be on deck. Okay, so we can't do a slash attack. Okay, multiple attacks, no. Slash attacks, no. Both attacker and defender roll for engagement. If combat commences, proceed to step B. So we are going to roll for engagement. Normal engagement would be, we need to make it 10. Modifiers +1 for the NATO aggression modifier. Different altitude band, no. Disordered, no. Slash attack, no. Rear hemisphere, no. He's or miss, no. So just the +1 for the aggression. 7, 8, 9, 10. We make our engagement, just barely, because they are detected. Likewise, for the NATO, or for the Warsaw Pact, they need to roll engagement, roll 2. Day detected is 10, +2 for their aggression. 7, 9, oh yeah, they easily make that. Alright, next maneuver. So we get a standard engagement. So we move you into the attacking hex. We maintain our orientation. Maneuver. Move the attacking flight into the hex, retaining its heading. Replace, yeah, everyone's detected now. Announce disengagement or jettison options. So the fencers are going to try and disengage. They're just trying to make a reconnaissance run, so they're not actually going to engage and try and shoot down Warsaw Pact. So again, we're not quite in a shooting war yet. So they will make a disengagement. Okay, now it's disengagement. Each side rolls on the maneuver table. So maneuver table. Roll on the table using the column for number of undamaged aircraft in flight. So NATO gets to make a maneuver roll. We didn't climb. We didn't zoom climb. We didn't climb. We didn't zoom climb. We don't have a maneuver marker. Didn't have a BVR void. Maneuver differential. Alright, what is our maneuver differential? The Phantom has a maneuver of 5, and the Fencer has a maneuver of 4. So that means we get a +1. Aggression differential, -1 for that. Geometry. If attacking flight is in defender's forward or forward, no. If attacking is in defender's rear, rear. Same hex. Yeah. So no, we're not in the forward, we're not in the rear, so that doesn't apply. We're a beam. So we get +1 for maneuver, -1 for aggression, nothing for geometry, no disorder, no surprise, no disadvantage. They are disengaging, so -2. +1 for maneuver, -1 makes 0 after the aggression, -2. So we roll -2. 7, 7's 14, -2 is 12. 12 on the 2 means we get 1 hit, although we're not actually shooting again. Select an undepleted weapon, then roll. So we will choose the A9L, which has a rating of what? A9L has a standard rating of 3. So we roll 2 dice, add 3. We've got 1. We do have an additional undepleted weapon, so +4. 19. +4. 19 plus 4 would be 23, which would be 1 aircraft damage. But again, we're not actually taking the shot. On the damage allocation, we would roll and see 3. 3 on the 2 aircraft. Crippled, nobody's crippled, so the first flight would take it, and they would take damage. Okay, so that is the shot resolution, depletion. Check for depletion on the A9L. Not depleted, even though we didn't actually fire it. Damage allocation, we did that. Morale check. Everybody takes a morale check. Okay. Air-to-air combat. So we'll do NATO first. Air-to-air combat. +1 for aggression value. No surprise. Yeah. No aircraft. Let's pretend that we did actually damage an aircraft, so we get a +2, so -2 for the disengaging, so just a straight roll. 18. Okay. Need to do a jettison check. We don't have any ordnance. No change to the aggression value, and that's it. Okay, now for the fencers. They have a +2 for aggression value. No surprise, no disadvantage. Nobody shot down. -2 because they're disengaging. Oh, I guess I shouldn't have done that on the NATO morale check. Not that it makes a real difference. So -2. So we're +2 for the aggression, -2 for the disengaging straight roll again. 7, 8, 15, 15, -1 aggression, and a jettison check. So we don't need to do a jettison check, but their aggression is now +1. Okay, that is the morale check. Scatter, roll for scatter. Where does everybody go? Okay, we'll do NATO first. 6, straight ahead. Just move those, and it's there. And sensors, 7, head to the right, so they go there. Okay, so markers, place maneuver markers. Not applicable to disengaging flights, so where's the maneuver markers? Maneuver, NATO gets a maneuver. Mark disordered or abort status, nobody got disordered or aborted. Remove any acquisition. Oh, they lose their acquisitions, that's irksome. Forgot about that. Remove acquisition, BVR avoid, SAM avoid, anti-radar zoom climb. Flip flight counters to undetected, so everybody goes undetected. So all the chaos of that just mucks everything up. And there we are. No bailouts. Fuel, everybody uses a point of fuel. And so that was the movement phase. That was everybody moved. Fuel phase, we engaged air-to-air combat. We already marked down the fuel. Location phase, SAM location's already located. Tracking phase, everybody's undetected. SAM acquisition phase, alright, we can now attempt to reacquire. Okay, acquisition, defensive strength -3, targets on the deck -2, so -5. 18 -5 is 13, that's a full acquisition. Hot dog. Where'd that go? 30 gets a full acquisition. And 29, 18 as well, -3 gets a full acquisition. How about that? Okay, that's SAM acquisition. Admin phase, no disorder recovery, no split flights, yada 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 yada. Okay. Okay, so that's it then. Now we move on to turn 8. Random event phase. 15. Suppression of enemy air defense strike. That's not applicable to this scenario. Scenario special rules. Okay, jamming phase not applicable. Detection phase. We need to detect again. We can do a early warning, or sorry, a standard detection. NATO. 13 -1 is 12. That's plenty. These guys get detected. We can do a standard detection for the Warsaw Pact. 10 -2 for being on the deck is an 8, which is not enough, but we can attempt a visual detection. 10 on the visual, still doesn't detect them. Radar detection, they don't have a radar. Early warning radar detection, we could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So that is in range for the early warning radar. So that's basically another roll on the B, with -2 for them being on the deck again. 10 -2 is 8. Still not detected. How about that? Okay, so that is it for detection phase. Now is movement. NATO is going to roll 1, 3. They go first. They will attempt to go first, actually. And they go... Oh, they don't. So Warsaw Pact goes first. They are going to dash throttle, which gives them 5 points. They'll go 1, 2, 3... Sorry. 1, 2, free move, or free turn, 3, 4... Actually, no, we know they're there. So we're here. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, free turn, 4, 5. Oh, I guess it doesn't matter. Oh no, we need to go adjacent to the hawk anyway. So let's try it again. 1, 2, free turn, 3, free turn. Yeah, that made a mess of things, didn't it? Or at 5, so we can do a 90-degree turn. Let's just do that. 1, 2, 3. Free turn. 4, 5. Free turn. And that moves us adjacent, past the hawk adjacent, which we needed to be. But that puts us also adjacent to the Gepard, which means we get a potential blast from that, because that can fire to the hex adjacent to it. Anti-aircraft table. So a Gepard firing at the deck level needs to roll a 12. Modifiers. Inherent A zones. Auto small arms, no. So none of that. So 8, 9 doesn't hit. Alright. So that is it for the Warsaw Pact movement. Now comes NATO. So they need to spend, they're going to be at dash again. So they have to spend 2.5 or 3 of their points to remove the maneuver marker. I'm going to go 1, 2. That's for the remaining ones. We could again do beyond visual range engagement. We're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, although we're attacking the rear, which is probably a bit far for that. Skyflash only has a 2 hex range from the rear, so we couldn't actually fire if we were going to do one. But we already did our BVR engagement, so that's fine. So that is it for movement. We could take another SAM shot if we wanted, but we're not actually shooting with them again. Tracking phase, NATO's on the deck in rough. It's already undetected. So roll for undetection. The tracking chart is 16. 16, detection level B is a heart. There's a spade. That's not a spade, so it doesn't go undetected. And that is it for the tracking phase. SAM acquisition, so we'll continue to try and acquire. 29, again it's a -5 modifier because it's on the deck, and jamming rate of 3. So 29 is 11 minus 5 is 6, so it goes down to a partial acquisition. 30, 15 minus 5 is 10, so it maintains its full acquisition. That's it for SAM acquisition. Admin, nothing else to deal with in the admin phase. So we move on to turn 9. Random event. 11. NATO quick response. No quick response. Jamming phase, no jamming. Detection. We can try and detect the NATO flight again. 4 and 6 is 10, minus 2 because it's on the deck. Nope. Visual detection, it's out of visual range. Early warning radar. 4 and 5 is mine. 9 minus 2 is still no. Not that it makes a difference at this point, but yeah, that's it for detection movement phase. NATO goes first, and they will attempt to go first. 1, and so they are able to do it. Oh, I forgot to mark down fuel usage last time. Everybody used a fuel for dashing. Okay, so NATO's going to move first. They're going to go 1 at dash speed, 2, 3. They will attempt a BVR engagement here. So they are detected. It's a BVR engagement, so our detection number is 9. +1 for aggression value. No difference in altitude. None of the other stuff applies. So we just need an 8 or higher, which we miss. 2. Alright, but that's only 4 of our movement points. So we can go 5, and we can attempt to make a standard engagement there. So that would be, they are detected, so it would be a 10. So that's 14. Plus 1 for aggression is 15, so they are detected. The Warsaw Pact needs to make their detection roll. 14. So they make theirs. So it'd basically be the same. I'm not gonna run through the whole engagement process. Oh, you know, why not? So they both make their engagement. So attacker, yes, combat commences. There's no surprise or disadvantage. So now we do maneuver. So the Warsaw or the NATO will attempt to make its maneuver. Warsaw Pact will disengage again. Okay, flight climb, no. Zoom climb, no. Maneuver marker, no. So no maneuver ratings, no altitude difference. Defender being attacked from a forward arc. So that one does. We roll +2, +3 with the. Oh, that's BDR. No, sorry. Plus maneuver differential, so +1 for the maneuver. No difference for the aggression value. +1 for the geometry. So +2. So 9 and 8 gives us 20 on the 2, so we would get like 4 hits. So these guys would likely be going down if this was an actual engagement. But it's not. So they disengage. I'm just going to call it there for that engagement. They've made another successful engagement, so we're happy with that. That is it for movement then. Fuel phase, everyone uses up more gas. Everyone uses more gas. And SAM location phase, SAMs are located. Tracking phase, we can try and hide the Warsaw Pact flight 10 on the detection. It's a heart, no. SAM acquisition phase, so we can try and acquire again. So that will go down to a partial, and 29 will go back up to a full, still at the -5 modifier, but they were already acquired, so we just need an 8 or higher. That's it for acquisition phase. Admin phase, nothing to do in the admin phase. Alright, moving on, turn 10. Random event. 9. Command confusion. 4. Warsaw Pact. Can't initiate any air-to-air combat. Okay, that's fine. They're not planning on doing that anyways. Jamming phase, no jamming. Detection. Can try and detect NATO again. 14. -2 for being on the deck gives us 12, which I think will finally actually detect them. 12, so NATO's finally detected. Okay, movement phase. NATO will attempt to... Oh, Warsaw Pact wins the initiative, so they are going to draw first. They want to get the heck out of Dodge. And they get to move first. So they're going dash speed again. And they're just going to go screaming along at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. NATO will do the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's as close as they can get to the border. They're only allowed within 2, or not allowed within 2. So really they should just go here and turn. And I guess they can go there. 1, 2. They could do a BBR engagement. They could also attempt a standard combat again, but we're not going to do that. We're just chasing them off and back across the border. So we'll carry on from there. SAM acquisition phase. We've already got the full acquisitions that we need. We're not launching any SAM, so we're basically just going to wrap this up where things are. We'll get everyone burns another fuel is the main thing. And SAM location, tracking phase. Okay, Warsaw Pact is 8. Diamond, oh, Diamond actually does go back undetected again. And NATO 12, no. 13, nothing. So that's it. For the tracking, SAM acquisition, no, we won't worry about the SAM acquisition at this point. They're not going to shoot at them anymore. And admin, nothing else to deal with there. So now we go to turn 11. Random event phase, anything crazy? Probably not. 16. SA-5 attack, randomly select one NATO flight tasked with standoff or escort jamming, not applicable. No jamming. Detection, we can try and detect the Soviet flight again. 7, not normally detected. We can do a visual detection, and also not detected. We can do a radar detection. Still not detected, amazingly. Guess it was time for them. Okay, so that's it for detection. Then movement. Who's going to go first? 4. So NATO would get to draw first. They pull 1, so if they really wanted to, they could move in and engage with them again on the 3rd or 4th, however many it is engagements. But they're just going to let these guys go. So they're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. NATO is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And Emperor marks off a unit of fuel. Okay, so that's it for turn 11. And at this point, everything's more or less wrapped up. The Soviet flight is just going to scooter along here and exit off board. NATO flight will return back to wherever. They've got, they're not out of fuel, so they can manage that. And yeah, so that's the end of scenario 1. And if we review the victory conditions for NATO, they had to accomplish a couple different things. Detection and visual identification of the Recon flight. We did that. We detected it many times and had it visually ID'd. Achieve full SAM acquisition at the end of 2 administration phases. We had that. Successful BVR engagement. Yes. Success of conduct standard air-to-air engagement. Yes. So we did all that. So NATO wins. Warsaw Pact did get their reconnaissance run in. The only reason they made it through alive, though, was basically because NATO didn't pull the trigger. So that's it for scenario 1. Oh, I guess we've got the completing the scenario. Recovery phase. We don't need to do any of that. Nobody got shut down. Bomb damage assessment. No bombs were dropped. And victory phase. Compare total VPs. Well, we check the scenario rules on victory, and we see that NATO won. Hooray! So that's it. Thank you for joining me. This has just been a quick playthrough of Scenario 1, an attempt to get familiar with the rules, particularly around movement and engagement and SAM acquisition. We may try this one again and actually allow some shots to be fired, or we may move on to the next one and see where things go from there. But thanks for joining me.